You send a text message. 3 dots appear. Then they disappear. Then nothing. Your chest tightens. Your stomach drops. You check your phone 4 more times in the next 10 minutes, and you don't know why it feels this urgent. It's just a text, but your body is treating it like a 5-alarm fire. The real answer is far stranger than embarrassment or impatience. Somewhere deep inside your skull, a system built for a world that no longer exists has just declared an emergency. It doesn't know the difference between being unfollowed and being left for dead in the wilderness. To your ancient wiring, they are almost the same event. Rewind 200,000 years. You are not scrolling a phone. You are standing at the edge of a small group of 30 people, and that group is the entire world you have access to. There is no grocery store. There is no other tribe 50 miles away that will take you in out of kindness. If this group stops sharing food with you, stops watching your back at night, stops including you in the hunt, you do not simply feel lonely. You die. Slowly, from exposure, or from a predator, or from starvation, but you die. So your brain built an alarm system for exactly this danger, and it is not a gentle one. Researchers wanted to know what happens inside the brain the moment a person is excluded, so social psychologist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA designed an experiment called Cyberball. A person lies in a brain scanner playing a simple game of catch with 2 other players, except the other 2 are computer programs, and partway through, they simply stop throwing the ball to the real player. That's it, no insult, no confrontation. Just silence and a ball going back and forth between 2 other people. What lit up in the scanner surprised almost everyone. The anterior cingulate cortex, a region normally associated with physical pain, fired the same way it does when your hand touches something hot. Being ignored in a make-believe ball game activated the same neural circuitry as a burn. Your brain, it turns out, never built a separate system for social pain. It borrowed the one it already had for physical injury, because for most of human history, social rejection was a physical threat. Why build 2 alarms when one will do? This is why the word hurt works both ways. A broken bone hurts. A friend not texting back hurts. Your brain isn't being dramatic. It's being efficient, reusing old hardware for a new kind of wound. But the panic goes deeper than pain. It touches the oldest survival circuit you have. Social psychologist Kipling Williams, who has spent decades studying ostracism, found something almost universal across cultures, ages, and personality types. The very first response to being excluded is not sadness. It's a spike in vigilance. Heart rate increases. Attention sharpens. The body moves into a state that looks almost identical to detecting a predator in the grass. Before you can even name the feeling, your nervous system has already decided this is an emergency worth mobilizing for. Here's the part that should stop you for a second. This response fires within milliseconds, faster than your conscious mind can evaluate whether the threat is real. You already know rationally that a friend not replying to a text is not going to end your life. Your amygdala does not know that. It was shaped by an environment where a slow, thoughtful analysis of, is this really dangerous, could get you killed while you were still thinking about it. Fast and wrong beat slow and right, generation after generation, and the fast wiring won. So what is actually happening in your body during that spike? Your sympathetic nervous system floods you with cortisol and adrenaline, the same chemicals that would prepare you to run from a predator or fight for your position in the group. Your heart rate climbs, your muscles tense, ready for action that never comes because there's no predator to run from and no rival to fight. There's just a phone screen, dark and unresponsive, and a body primed for a battle that isn't happening. This is where neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman's work becomes essential. Lieberman spent years studying what he calls the brain's default state, the pattern of activity it falls into whenever it isn't busy with a specific task. He found that this resting state is dominated by regions involved in thinking about other people, what they think of you, where you stand with them, whether you belong. Your brain, left to its own devices, doesn't drift toward math problems or grocery lists. It drifts toward your social standing. Belonging isn't a background feature of your mind. It's closer to the operating system. That explains why the silence after being ignored feels so loud. Your brain isn't just processing an absence of information. It's actively searching for a threat assessment, running the same background program your ancestors ran every time they scanned the group to check who was still an ally and who might now see them as expendable. A slow reply doesn't just feel awkward. It feels to some ancient layer of you like a vote is being taken on whether you still belong. Consider what this meant for survival. Groups without strong exclusion instincts didn't just feel bad about outsiders. They had a mechanism for removing threats, freeloaders, and dangerous individuals from the tribe because a group's resources were finite and its safety depended on trust. Ostracism was one of humanity's oldest punishments, older than prisons, older than fines, in some ways older than language itself. Being cast out was often a death sentence handed down without a single weapon. And because the punishment was so severe, the fear of it had to be severe too. Evolution doesn't build a smoke detector for a fire that's merely inconvenient. It builds one for a fire that could kill you. This is also why exclusion doesn't need to be loud to work. It doesn't require shouting or public humiliation. Silence does the job just as effectively, sometimes more effectively, because silence gives your alarm system nothing concrete to fight. You can argue with an insult. You cannot argue with 3 gray dots that simply vanish. Now bring this back to today. You are not standing at the edge of a hunting party. You are standing at the edge of a group chat, a comment section, a read receipt with no reply beneath it. The stakes have changed completely. Your biology has not caught up. When a message goes unanswered for hours, the ancient circuitry doesn't calculate the actual odds that this person still cares about you. It runs the same ancestral math it always has. Silence from the group once meant danger. So silence now still trips the wire. This is worth sitting with, because it reframes something you've probably judged yourself for. You are not weak for checking your phone 5 times after an unanswered text. You are not fragile for feeling genuinely hurt by a joke that excluded you from the group. Your nervous system is doing exactly what kept your ancestors alive for 200,000 years. It is reading modern silence with a survival manual written for a world where being unseen by the group meant being unprotected from everything in it. Knowing this doesn't erase the feeling, and it shouldn't. The feeling is doing its job, but it can change what you do with it. The next time your chest tightens over an unanswered message, you can notice the alarm for what it is. An ancient system, still faithfully running, mistaking a pause in a conversation for a threat to your survival. You can let the recognition slow the spiral, even if it can't silence the alarm completely, because naming an old reflex is often the first step to not being ruled by it. So the next time 3 dots appear and disappear, and your stomach drops before you've even decided to care, remember what's actually happening. It isn't just a text. It's a 200,000-year-old alarm going off in a world it was never built for, and it will keep ringing every single time whether you deserve it or not.